All right, so continuing on with the guard, we need to export this out of Zbrush back into Max. Easy for me to say. So go into our export. Let's just make a reference of this being the high. And we'll jump back into Max. Go ahead. We can hide this for the time being. Let's rename this exp underscore Zbrush, so we have that as a backup if we ever need it. And let's go ahead and import that high poly mesh in. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and center its pivot on here. Let's make sure this guy's centered too. And then we can align these pieces together like such. Okay. And we'll go ahead and add a layer. Call this high. And let's go ahead and hide that piece and create another layer. Unhide it. Call it low. This is the piece we're going to unwrap. So let's go ahead and turn our wireframe on. And I believe before I had a turn to poly modifier on the stack. So if that's still visible, go ahead and just kill it. So you're just left with the pro boolean modifier. And then we're going to turn on quick low poly stack on this piece. And that'll triangulate it so that we can work with this now. So we've got an edit poly on our stack. Let's rename this to guard underscore low. And we're going to just unwrap it. So let's start by doing a projection of the front faces. So we can, let's see, we can select by planar angle. So let's go ahead and do that. Turn this on. That should allow us to grab the top and bottom. And we'll just do a flatten mapping of that. Okay. So we have these pieces. And come to think of it, I might, to kind of keep the texture space, the most texture resolution, I might make this a mirror. So maybe let's do a planar projection on Z, and that'll put the UVs right on top of each other. And we'll just, for the time being, we'll just move these off to the side. Okay. And so that basically leaves us with the outer and inner pieces. So we can just do a flatten map on those. And that gives us a ton of pieces. So what we want to do now is just kind of clean this up into a usable mesh, not mess. So I'm going to go into edge mode. Let's disable wireframe so we just see the visible seams. And we're going to utilize that hotkey Shift S, which is just a target weld. So I can just select the seam, hit Shift S, and it welds it. You can see how it welds it up here in our UV editor. So we want to weld everything. Make sure you're selecting it too. This script has a tendency to crash Max when it pleases, whenever it decides it doesn't want to work for you. Okay, so we've got one seam there. I'm going to go ahead and weld this piece, this piece, this piece. And we're just trying to think about, you know, try to keep these pieces about medium size. We don't want any really long pieces, otherwise it's going to be very tough to fit that into our UV space. So this piece right here could definitely be welded. This one here as well. I really wish one day there'll be an option, there'll be a way to not have to do unwrapping, because it really just makes things a pain in the butt. So I'm just creating a break there. Let's go ahead and weld this, weld that. There's no real fast way to do this. I don't know. Hedis is a pretty quick program I used to use a lot, but I don't know. You gotta pay like $70 for it. It's not worth it. Okay. Okay. Just kind of go along it. Maybe we'll just go along kind of rotating like this. That might be easier, the easiest way to spot seams. This one right here. Okay. Yeah, I saw that piece, but I think we'll just kind of continue with this, just rotating around it this way. Seems to be the best way to work, and then go the opposite way. That's really interesting. The thickness line changes as I scroll in. It's like the clipping plane's getting fouled up. And we could flip over and kind of rotate this way now. So we got a small piece there and there. I think I might make a break here and make this welded. Next, yeah, I guess that'd be fine. So I'm still seeing some small bits of pieces here, so let's kind of just manually grab these and see where they correspond to. Let me go into face mode. Okay, so that's just an end cap piece. How about this over here? Okay, those are just... Alright. So I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and take a look at how the texture is being applied. I'm going to go ahead and save real quick. I'm going to try to do a relax on these, and I don't want them going all, I don't want it crashing on me. So the first thing I'll do, let's go ahead and do a rescale elements so everything's the same resolution. And then we'll do a relax by face angle. these, uncheck rescale, and click pack together. And this piece is way too long, so I'm just going to grab it about in the middle, give or take right there. Go ahead and break that. Let's go into element mode here. Move this up. And let's pack these together again. Okay. So let's think about how we can organize this now to fit in the 0 to 1 space. So we have some little tiny pieces like this that can fit in here. So maybe we'll just grab these and try to fit them in here. Hopefully we don't keep this video too long. Just unwrapping always just takes the longest. I always dread it. Okay. And it's important to keep these kind of face. You don't want these like tilted at an angle. Like just to show you, if I tilt this at an angle, let's go into rotation here. You kind of see kind of a stair-stepping effect going on. You really want to prevent that from happening. Otherwise, it'll be really apparent in the normal map when you go to bake it. Okay. So we can get a few more of these smaller pieces in here. Yeah, one nice thing about Hedis too is it has an option to pack UVs. Like it examines the whole layout and then packs them like really tightly. It's a really nice feature. Okay, so let's move. We in element mode? We are. Okay. Let's move this into place. We know that maybe we want to break these twice. Nah, we don't want to add too many seams. So we're going to grab everything here and scale it down uniformly to a point where this piece fits within it. Something like that. Okay. And let's try to get these pieces kind of packed in here a little tighter. And for the time being, I'm going to move these out of the way. Stick this in here. Okay, and we'll start moving some of these pieces back in. I feel like we probably have more than enough room. I don't even know if I need to really pack them that tight. You can always pack UVs too, which is nice. So if you have like a lot of tiny little bits that you're working from, you can always just pack them. Let's see, maybe we just pack this set. And then pack these. I'm just looking at this, and we're not really utilizing the texture space the best we could. And it's really only because of these longer pieces here. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and cut those right down the middle. Go ahead and break it. And let's try to organize this again. So we'll grab all this, pack together, move it. Let's scale everything together. Okay. Move these off to the side, move these back in here. And let's try repositioning these back in here. Stick that guy back where it was. And we're going to be baking a 2K map, so having these UV shells really close to each other isn't too much of an issue. So kind of want to get these longer pieces in, and hopefully we get them to fit in here. Move this up. And we're just left with this piece. It's always one piece that's always doesn't want to fit. Let's just go ahead and break it. And start kind of putting these pieces in here. So quite a lot of pieces. Fit this in that corner there. It's like Tetris. Try to get these positioned a little more neatly. Pull this back as far as we can. Okay. I need some coffee here. Okay. getting there. Should be able to move this one, move this set in a little bit. Stick this on the edge. And actually, I think I'll put this one over there just because it's a little longer. Trying to get more of these longer pieces in there. Is that going to fit? Okay. Let's go ahead and just pack these together. Yeah, really fighting for space. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's not really going to open up too much space doing that. I think we could move. Let's move this back like that. Make sure we grab all this in here. Can actually move these back a little bit too. Move this one down. I might leave enough room for something there. And then we can move these ones back. Piece, where can that fit? I feel like we could, yeah, if we move this over here more into the edge. Still not wide enough for these pieces, is it? Yeah, I guess it is. Well, I have these smaller pieces too that we can rearrange. So we could technically fill that in there. Maybe put this one there too. And then that opens up that area in there to put in some of these larger pieces. And do the same for this area. off to the side for the time being. Can I actually fit? I wonder if I could fit one like that. Yep. Okay. Maybe if we rotate these like we had it there. That'll allow us to place this here. It's tight, but it works. Can move these up. Okay, so we're left with this piece and those pieces. So, all right. Just trying to add a little room where we can. Alright, now we got all our pieces in there. And that's utilizing, I think we're making pretty much the most out of that texture space that we can with this piece. Probably could do it a little better, but alright, so there we go. That's unwrapped now. Okay, so there's a few things we got to do before we call this piece done. We need to reposition one of these shells because we have them overlapping currently. So we'll just grab, really doesn't matter which one you grab, so we'll just grab one in here using element mode, and then make sure that we check this box on. It's called, let's see if it's absolute relative type-ins, and then we want to move it up 1 unit in the V coordinate, and that'll just bump it up, and that'll just basically prevent Substance Painter from producing any artifacting when we bake out our normal maps. Okay, so we have that. Another thing we need to do is open up text tools and go to tools right here and smooth groups from UV shells. And it does exactly what you think it would. It basically creates a smooth group anywhere there's a separate UV shell. And that's important for when we go to bake out our normal map, so we can get clean results. Otherwise, if we just left it with the smooth groups we had by default, we'd get some hard edges in our normal map that just wouldn't look very good.